What's up, chat? It's good. How does my head feel? I'm still f***ed up, but my head was f***ed up. I was throwing up and shit. One of my teammates, Andre, who was on the stream the last time, is having a pro wrestling show, and I told him I will come and support, and then I wanted to bring you guys with me. And I was throwing up and shit. My head still feels like funny. I'm not even gonna cap.
Hey, I think that's a little.
What started out as just another live stream turned into a live beating, nearly killing a man in front of thousands online. Those viewers and the millions more who saw the viral clips witnessed one of the most medically dangerous things you can do. Continue to strike someone after they're already KO'd.
He picks the wrestler up, slams him on the mat, and then lays down 27 punches to the man's skull, most of which were delivered while he was unconscious.
At a California wrestling event on August 23rd, the line between entertainment and real violence vanished. Wrestling may be scripted, but when someone goes off script, the damage can get terrifyingly real.
Nah, I will him up, bro.
I know you will, so I got you. So
I do not play that shit at all.
This wasn't just streamer drama. This was a real medical crisis that sent someone straight to the ICU. And it forces us to ask, what actually happens to the brain, one of the body's most fragile organs, in a situation like this?
He's in full mount, and he's just launching haymakers on the guy. He's already unconscious. Guy's not moving, blood coming out of his face, he's out.
According to initial reports, the wrestler who took the beating was alive and stable, but in critical condition after the altercation.
That can be fatal. That is most oftentimes fatal.
In this video, we'll take you step by step through what happened during Raja's infamous wrestling stream. We'll explain medically what happens when consecutive blows are delivered to the head, especially when someone is already unconscious. We'll cover the immediate emergencies, the long-term consequences, and why the culture of streaming, with its rage bait and constant push for extremes, pushes people past the point of safety. Now, if you're a returning viewer, do me a solid and give the video a like and share your thoughts about this sad topic. However, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Watch the video first, and if so inclined, join our army of intelligent interns learning about healthcare at the end. Let's get to 1 million together and have everyone arrive there a smarter person. Now that we've gotten that off our plate, let's proceed.
I'm not gonna fake it. Exactly. They don't want me. They don't want me in there for real because I'm not gonna fake it. Watch. And then as soon as I do what I'm doing, I'm leaving.
Now let's talk about this, because this wasn't just a random stage invasion. It was a bruised ego, feelings of disrespect, and a fear of looking weak. A chain of bad decisions that spiraled into a medical emergency. So let's rewind back to the start of the night and see how a few minutes of clout spiraled into chaos.
They had like a little beef before the event started, and someone had told Raja Jackson that he could like double leg take down Psycho Stu in the ring and then throw like a fake punch, and that would be it, to like settle the beef and create like this storyline.
Once upon a time, there was a 25-year-old named Raja Jackson. But Raja Jackson isn't just some random kid who showed up at a wrestling event. He's the son of Rampage Jackson, former MMA star and actor. And like his dad, he's dipped into MMA himself. But more than that, he's part of a growing online culture, IRL streaming.
Don't show out in front of your stream, son. Cause I've been saying some of them clips, nigga. You been trying to embarrass me. What are you talking on my stream, nigga? I would embarrass you on your stream.
A world where the game is always about topping yourself with bigger, wilder stunts to keep the chat entertained. For Raja, that meant spectacles like the controlled chaos of a wrestling ring. And being Rampage Jackson's son, that opens doors.
Please, Rampage!
He gets access backstage where the line between reality and performance is thinner than it looks. That's where he runs into Psycho Stu, a military veteran who turned to the sport of performative wrestling as an outlet after battling PTSD. Of course, because this is the internet, memes and hot takes are trying to spin what happened between them into something it wasn't, with cultural and identity-based narratives. But at its core, it has two egos colliding. Raja's realness was a performance, while Stu's performance was his reality.
And of course, the wrestlers are all playing characters, and when it comes to wrestling, there's a little something called kayfabe. And so they are going to portray their character to the best of their ability and keep everything as authentic and genuine as possible.
These wrestlers are used to selling storylines, treating it as real as possible, both in and out of the ring. There is always behind the scenes pre-planned drama. We see it in the WWE all the time. It's all about building heat to make a feud believable.
Stu thinks that this guy's part of it because he sees the camera, he sees the guy backstage, and they're often doing promotions that way.
Psycho Stu mistook Raja as being a worker in the event and stayed in character. And Psycho Stu, true to his name, went psycho.
Psycho Stu?
What, you don't know me?
Hell no. Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a little... Oh, you don't know it?
He smashes a beer can on Raja's head behind stage. Now, it's unclear if it was a prop, the breakaway glass actors sometimes use, but if it was real, that could have caused a concussion or at least some bruising, cuts, and a nasty headache.
That was a real can. It just wasn't full. That was a real can of beer. That's what I'm saying. Like, what the? That shit was no prop can at all.
Not devastating, but enough to cross the line from bit to legit. But note Stu's reaction immediately afterward. As soon as he realizes Raja isn't part of the show, he tries to squash it then and there.
Oh, can you put that down, please? Like, seriously.
No. That's for me.
I know it's for you, but we're trying to solve something right now. Like, we don't want no heat. We don't want no problem.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool now, but you know what I'm saying?
We just want to make sure everything's okay. He knows he f***ed up. He's trying to apologize and stuff.
So at this point, it looks like the situation is over. Handshakes, mutual respect, crisis averted. But here's where wrestling culture creeps in. Instead of just ending it, the wrestlers offer Raja what's called a receipt. In wrestling, that usually means a playful or symbolic payback shot, not actual violence. Basically, a way to make things right on stage.
So I understand where you're coming from. I'm a little hot right now, so let's go ahead.
You know what's
chill.
a good thing about this? Now I can make it something. Because I'm going to have you run in and come up in the mat.
You know what
ready
I'm
for that?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Right. Talk to the president.
Yeah. If you can do that for me, I'll be cool.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do that.
The boundaries between performative playback and real revenge weren't clearly defined, which allowed him to interpret it, well, freaking loosely, man. Holy crap.
Even when we are working like that, you know
That's what I'm saying.
But he doesn't know him like that.
He don't. He's a f***ing idiot. Hey. So when you run in on his shit, you f***ing give him his receipt. You remember what a receipt is? Give him that f***ing receipt, bro. Tag his shit. If you got a f***ing problem with it, I'll f***ing run out there.
Oh, so he's telling him to jump in.
They're saying go in, but they're saying give a receipt. A receipt is just a cheap blow.
Tag his shit, bro.
As long as I get my lick back, I'm straight.
I think the premeditation part comes on the side of AJ Mana. You brought somebody that was volatile that you knew had issues.
It's important to remember that the wrestlers were under the assumption he had some level of restraint and would keep it in the realm of the show since he appeared calm and collected. In reality, though, he was already plotting.
So he took that like pseudo invite, like green light to be involved in the wrestling event as a permission slip to go brutally assault this man and beat him within an inch of his life.
Because even though it seemed like bygones were bygones, you can see he's still clearly upset, still holding a grudge, planning to do something reckless.
That shit pissed me off, bro. It didn't even hurt. It just pissed me off.
In live streaming, the pressure to keep the show going doesn't restrain your reactions. It amplifies them. Hyped up by the chat, the subs, and his own ego, Raja was caught in a feedback loop that demanded bigger, harsher responses.
Why didn't you f that guy up? Cause if I would have done something, then they would have kicked me out of this. Then there would be no more stream today.
The audience wasn't just watching, they were scripting the escalation.
I'm gonna fake crash out. All right, bet. You about to see you about to see how fake of a crash out I am.
You heard what he said? Someone said to him, you're a fake crash out. He said, I'm a fake crash out. Bet. Again, you're gonna see the escalation.
Viewers are literally wagering for violence. That digital encouragement can make someone feel like there's a safe way to act on anger even when the consequences are real.
How many subs to knock him out? That's a good question. I don't know. 50 subs, knock him out. 50 subs.
Adrenaline is surging and feelings of disrespect intensify. On a neurological level, the amygdala, the brain's threat detector, is firing on all cylinders, while prefrontal regions responsible for impulse control are suppressed. In these moments, decision-making and emotional regulation can get overridden by a fight or flight response. Add in the audience essentially calling for blood with no real-world accountability, and the neural circuits that normally keep impulses in check can become scrambled.
If he hits me back for real, I don't give a I want him to.
Yep, you guessed it. He reaches a boiling point. Meanwhile, Stu, the wrestler, clearly thinks, okay, I guess it's time to improvise. That's part of the gig, yo. What follows is utter madness. He lifts him up, slams him down, which, by the way, knocks him unconscious, then repeatedly pummels him with over 25 punches to the head.
It's not like he just stopped and said, okay, well, that's plenty. I've had my fill. He was still going. The only reason there weren't more punches thrown by him is because the other wrestlers were able to separate him. But he was fighting against them to go back and keep beating this unconscious man.
The slam to the mat connects with the back of Stu's skull, the occipital lobe. The force jolts the brain inside the skull, stretching and shearing neurons and disrupting normal electrical activity, causing a knockout. See, when an impact is strong enough, it overwhelms the brain's ability to function normally, essentially tripping the circuit breaker and temporarily shutting it down. A protective state that conserves energy and helps prevent internal chaos.
When I watched it back, it's clear that when he slammed him on the mat, his head hit the mat and it knocked him out immediately. So all 27, potentially more, punches that he threw were on an unconscious man.
From here, the punches keep on coming. Each hit compounds the trauma, driving up the risk of skull fracture, brain swelling, and subdural hematoma. And keep in mind, these weren't like going easy on you friendly jabs, nor is Raja missing any of the shots.
The human skull, the way it works is that like, you've got, let's say like y'all ever play Halo? You got your normal shield in the back, you got your over shield in the front, right? And so like generally like if somebody hits you back like in this side, like you don't have as much armor there, right? Like you got a low, that's like a weak point, right? And so the temple, yeah, that was basically where it was, right? Exactly.
I appreciate the Halo analogy, and it's kind of accurate.
And like, I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not a doctor.
The frontal bone is the thickest part of the skull, so it absorbs force fairly well. Though internal ridges mean the brain can still get jostled against them, making frontal lobe injuries particularly dangerous. The back of the head, the occipital bone, is a bit thinner, but its smooth curved shape helps spread out impacts. But yes, the real weak spots, absolutely the sides, the temples where the skull is thinnest. A blow here can damage the middle meningeal artery, creating a high risk of internal bleeding. This is the part where medical reality hits. The brain isn't just a punching bag. Once unconscious, every additional strike risks catastrophic, sometimes irreversible injury. In boxing or MMA, the moment someone goes limp, referees step in immediately. Once unconscious, the brain can no longer defend itself from external threats. No reflexes, no guarding.
One punch, everything else was just unnecessary.
The neck muscles go limp, so the head snaps back and forth more violently with each impact. The person cannot brace or turn away. At this point, any additional blows only increase the risk of serious injury. And even though you can't see the literal brain damage, there can be immediate, subtle signs of neurological impact.
I think that, and I don't know if any of you guys noticed this at the very end, his leg was twitching and his foot was twitching. I think that he probably got nerve damage.
First, this could just be nerve irritation. Trauma can temporarily jostle peripheral nerves or spinal reflexes, causing localized twitching. The brain itself might also be reacting. Cortical irritation can make neurons fire abnormally, sometimes looking like a seizure or affecting just one limb. But after a traumatic brain injury, or TBI, even subtle repetitive jerks can be a warning sign that some brain tissues have been damaged enough to become hyperexcitable. So while not every twitch equals permanent injury, this is definitely more than just a knockout.
Oh my god! Oh my god! He's bleeding so bad. The dude who came in like punched him for real.
Now, the audience saw pure insanity, but you have to wonder, what did Raja's dad think? This is a guy who has built a career on violence. A man known to the world as Rampage Jackson. And as it happens, we don't have to wonder, because he was live watching it all unfold in real time.
I hope it was staged. I hope it's staged, because sometimes people do hardcore. Some people do hardcore pro wrestling.
He's visibly shocked for a second there. Then you can see the shift to a bit of denial, clinging to the idea that it's still part of the show. Oh my God, I hope this was staged, he says. And then his stream ends. Now, of course, as a parent, his instinct is to defend his son.
It hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something.
Yeah.
And Roger didn't react, but Roger didn't fight though. He didn't do anything, because I told Roger not to get punched, but...
He tried to justify it on stream, but reality was already starting to sink in. Reportedly, after he found out the police were looking for Raja, he was not happy. He later posted a public message saying he didn't condone it, but for many, the response felt less like an apology and more like damage control. Like he still didn't fully grasp the life-altering severity of what his son had actually done. Meanwhile, back at the arena, Raja is seen walking out, seemingly unfazed by the trauma he just inflicted. The show, which had kids in attendance, was clearly over.
You can see he's got blood all over his shirt. They're escorting him out. He's getting kicked out of the joint. People are following him outside.
Meanwhile, Stu is lying in the ring, facing a very real possibility of lasting damage. Immediate intervention can save lives, and what you do in those first critical seconds matters immensely. There are do's and don'ts.
I'm gonna be real. I think this is an L. After they realized he was unresponsive, they should not have even moved his body. They should have waited. They should have immediately called EMS and not done anything. Don't hit his back either. Yeah, like call an ambulance, exactly. Or at least call them and ask, like, what should we do? This is what happened, right?
One viewer noted they were trying to clear blood from his lungs or stomach. This aligns with what wrestler Douglas Mallow, who was involved in stopping Raja, said in an interview.
How did Stu get out of the ring? I assume it was stopped and paramedics came. Like, what actually happened?
He was given CPR. He was choking on his blood. The paramedics came.
So the attempts to clear him were likely addressing that urgent risk of airway obstruction. That said, the moment someone goes unresponsive, the priority is calling emergency services. Normally you don't move them, but if they're choking on blood or teeth, you can gently tilt the head to the side to clear the airway. No slaps, no twists, no extra force. Every unnecessary movement risks worsening brain or spinal injury. So if spinal injury is a possibility, a log roll is the preferred method to get the patient to a position to clear the airway. Otherwise, a finger sweep or suction is indicated. That said, it's not about judging anyone's response to this situation. Nobody expected this level of violence. What matters now is how serious the injuries are, something only hospital tests and scans can show. At the hospital, he was in the ICU, showing signs of severe traumatic brain injury. The brain can swell dangerously, risking potential herniation. In some cases, intubation is necessary, and surgery, like a craniotomy, may be required to relieve pressure inside the skull. Although he has been fortunate to survive the immediate trauma, long-term consequences can be profound. Survivors of severe TBI often face cognitive decline, trouble with memory, speech, and processing. Emotional instability can develop, including impulse control issues and depression. And repeated trauma drastically increases the risk of degenerative disease like CTE, where the brain essentially scars itself from the inside out.
Enjoy Roger Q2 LED.
No, see,
I'm sorry, the truth. I'm sorry, I forgot. Roger Plus, Roger Plus. I forget, son. I forget. You know CTE name.
Don't try to use it.
So he may have to be cautious about returning to the ring. And keep in mind that Stu started wrestling to deal with PTSD from previous military service. So it is quite likely that he already had at least some pre-existing psychological issues. This wasn't an average day on the job for any fighter, even a professional. Remember, there's a big difference between a single knockout and a KO followed by 25 additional blows while unconscious. It's what doctors call stacking injuries. The brain never gets a chance to reset, compounding damage every time. That said, Friends of Stu reported after a few days that he was awake and talking, which is a good sign because it shows his brain function is at least partially intact. His face, on the other hand, not so much. Stu had broken facial bones, likely his orbital floor, or the eye socket, the zygoma, the cheekbone, or the mandible, and had lost a lot of teeth.
How bad are his injuries?
Broken facial bones is from what I'm hearing. Missing teeth. Has no recollection of what happened.
At this point, that's all we know. And as brutal as that sounds, if that's the extent of it, he may have gotten off lucky. Breaking news. Approximately 1 week after his assault, Psycho Stu has been discharged from the hospital. His partner released the following information about his injuries in an Instagram post online. Stewart has been released from the hospital and is now home resting. He sustained a serious head injury and was unconscious upon arrival at the ER. His injuries include trauma to both the upper and lower jaws, a laceration to his upper lip, and a fracture to the maxilla bone, which unfortunately resulted in the loss of several teeth. He has a long road of recovery ahead, but he remains in good spirits despite everything he has been through, Contessa Patterson said in the post. The real danger is what you can't see right away, damage that only shows itself years later. So the full consequences might not be obvious, unfortunately, until long after the headlines fade. For Raja, you'd hope an event like this would be a wake-up call, a time for remorse and reflection. But based on how he acted immediately after, he didn't seem to grasp the severity of it all.
I told you to double leg that motherfucker and start welding. I just saw the video.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake that up. He's in the ring, flatline, bro.
My bad.
You didn't have to do all that. I understand y'all had heat. You didn't have to take advantage.
I'll call you back later.
Psychology isn't my lane, but his swings from detached calm, which looks more like emotional suppression, to explosive rage are concerning.
Hey, y'all gonna let me know when I'm getting in the ring? Okay.
Right during the next match, I'm gonna sit right behind you. I'm gonna give you a tap to let you know.
All right, bet.
Impulsiveness and lack of emotional regulation, traits that are somewhat common in young men, especially in the hyper-competitive, constantly online environments they grow up in.
No, bro. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stand up for myself because I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bro.
Streaming culture, where audiences largely amplify this, live chat rewards extremes, and viewers essentially cheer on poor impulse control.
Especially the IRL stuff is just amplifying people's insecurities, their bad nature. Why? Because the chat,
people feed on that.
That's it.
But social pressure doesn't just come from the internet. The constant need for validation, comparison to peers, and family expectations all pile on. In Raja's case, he's carrying the trauma of losing his mother, who was apparently murdered, while still trying to prove himself to his own dad.
Should I slam him first or hit him? W if I should slam him first, I'm not around. You don't think I can do it, Miggy? Bet. My dad can't never call me a...
There's even a resurfaced clip of his dad saying he expected something like this from his sons. Half joking maybe, but revealing. And we can see these same relevant thought processes at play in how his dad operates, like a zero tolerance policy for any perceived disrespect. For example, when he turned a fan tapping him on the back into a whole confrontation.
I just want to say what's up.
Bro, do you tap people on the back like that?
Sorry.
Bro, that's rude as
I'm so sorry.
Nobody like that. Turn around. Come here. Turn around. How you like that?
I'm so sorry.
Think about it. How you like that? You look at my son. Look at my son looking at you.
Sorry.
It's a whole worldview where ego has to be defended at all costs. Combine that upbringing with live stream culture and you get exactly what happened here. A young guy desperate not to look weak, escalating until someone ends up in the hospital. Regardless of the factors, none of this excuses the behavior. This isn't just internet drama anymore. What happened has very real legal consequences. And from a medical standpoint, once someone is unconscious, continuing to hit them isn't just a fight or even self-defense.
What happened was he thought I was a wrestler because there was a camera and I was back there. And he was probably drunk and shit.
That moves into the realm of potentially lethal criminality, like aggravated assault or even attempted manslaughter. For me though, what matters most is that Stu's recovery is as favorable as possible and that Raja actually takes this as a moment to change his behavior. At the end of the day, one knockout can change a life. From concussions to long-term brain damage, from fractures to chronic pain. The health consequences range from short-lived to permanent. For a few minutes of internet drama, Stu ended up in an ICU. The long-term damage, both to him and to everyone involved, may never be undone. So the next time you see a streamer edging into dangerous territory, remember, there are real bodies, real brains, and sometimes no reset button. Thanks for joining me in this discussion about the impact of Raja Jackson's assault on Psycho Stu. Be sure to join my intern army and click on your notifications to catch my uploads every Monday morning. And if you dig what I do and want to support our mission even more, consider becoming a member. And of course, don't forget to follow my gym, Human 2.0 Fitness, for free right here on YouTube, where we post content that helps you move better and prevent injury. Or its sister channel, Human at Home, where we show you how to be healthy in the place where you live. And as always, that's been a word from Dr. Chris Raynor, not your everyday ortho, where we see one, do one, teach one.